All right, so I just finished my round four game in the Kragerø Chess tournament. As usual, I'm a little bit rushed because dinner closes in 26 minutes from now. It's 7:34 p.m. So let me just show the game. I'm still trying to process what happened. I was playing Grandmaster Kaido Kulaots. Not sure how to pronounce his last name, but yeah, strong GM. I mean, every GM is pretty strong at chess. Rated 25-25 FIDE, and I decided to go into an accelerated dragon. We went into open Sicilian, and I played g6, and he opted for the Marazzi bind with c4. And I was prepared for this. I actually looked at this briefly before the game. Knight f6, knight c3, d6. There's different move orders here, but we got kind of a standard sequence of moves. Castle, queen d2, and here I go for the plan a5. And the idea of this move is to play a4 and then eventually queen a5 and try and gain a bit of space on the queen side. And here he played a move b3, which is already out of my preparation. It's one of the downsides actually of playing an opening that I don't have like so much experience in, but I've been dabbling with this a little bit. And I knew that there's a move here to play a4. He actually told me after the game that there was a Caruana Carlsen game, and clearly he wasn't lying, as we see it in the Masters database here. I think that game went a4. Yeah, a4, b4 is one approach for black. Leads to a playable position. I took some time here. Let me hide notation as usual. Later on, I'll probably just check briefly with Engine afterwards to see all the cool things that were missed. But okay, in this position, I played bishop to d7, going for just a more kind of patient setup. After bishop e2, put the bishop on c6. I played knight d7, knight c5. I play e6 here. And so far, we're kind of both staying within our own territories. I was familiar with this setup. This is a line I've studied maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. And the idea of e6 is a bit multi-purpose. Later, there's ideas of playing d5, but there's another idea of playing bishop e5, queen h4, and trying to orchestrate some kingside attack. Maybe also f5 to bust things open on the king side. So I was still kind of within my comfort zone. And here he plays bishop f1, I play bishop e5, and then he took a very long think and played knight to b5. If we see the timestamps here, yeah, he took over a half hour to play this move. And when he was thinking, I wasn't actually sure what to expect because it's not the easiest position for white. If white ever plays f4, then I very simply take and win the e4 pawn. And meanwhile, g3 looks a little bit weakening. So knight b5, there is some logic to it. He's trying to pressure d6, trying to maybe maneuver to d4. But I went ahead and played b6. One point of this move, not only am I reinforcing the knight, but in the event of knight d4, I can keep the bishop on the long diagonal. And at some point, I was dreaming of playing f5 to make the bishop a bit happier, also make the rook happier. So from here, rook d1 was played, play queen h4, threatening h2. He plays g3. I go back to e7. And it looks like the pawn is hanging because there's three attackers, but it's not really capturable because rook d8, and then, yeah, the knight's just a goner here. So he plays bishop g2. I play rook d8, knight c3, and then I play h5. And I was feeling pretty good. Like it seemed like he just didn't know what to do, move the knight back and forth. So lost a couple tempi, but it's still very much of a fight. And then from here, things very quickly got really crazy. Plays bishop g5, play f6, winning connect 4, but unfortunately not quite winning the game just yet. He plays bishop e3 back, and it looks weird because my bishop is just in front of my pawns. It seems like it might get trapped, but I always have this idea bishop takes c3 if necessary. So I play h4, and then he plays knight e2, and now he's actually threatening to play f4 to trap the bishop. So I go ahead and play d5, and this is where things just kind of explode in the center. Of course, the rook is aligned with the queen, And he found a nice continuation, which I did anticipate in the game. He takes, and plays queen c2, attacking the undefended g-pawn. And this was one of the downsides of playing f6, is it kind of weakened the squares around the king, and I had to spend a move to defend, played f5. And then he plays bishop h6. I was expecting knight f4. I was actually a bit more scared of this move because it hits g6 and d5. But I think maybe one reason he played bishop h6 was to remove the bishop from being a target on e3. So I went ahead, played rook f7, he takes, and then I made an intuitive decision here. After the game, he was saying that maybe I should take on d5, maybe with rook or bishop, but I decided to play the move bishop to b5. And when I first considered this move, I thought it was actually pretty strong, because I'm threatening to take on e2 and then play bishop d4, in some cases win the queen or win some amount of material. There's other cases where if he defends a knight, then I have bishop d3, skewering the queen and rook. So I thought this was a nice tactical move. Even though I'm now down a pawn, it feels like there's some compensation. So he plays knight d4, very logical. And then here I play rook h7, counterattacking. I spent some time on this move, actually spent most of my remaining time on this move. I really wanted to take, and then play g5 with the threat of queen f6, double attack, also trapping the bishop. And this almost works, but white has to move queen d2 here, defending the rook and hitting g5. And yeah, I think the bishop is being saved, and black is probably just worse here. So I went for rook h7, and then he took, I took, he played f4, and I don't entirely know what my downfall was, but he got a lot of initiative, and like every move, it felt like I was getting punched in the face. And I just didn't really know what to do. Like, white's pieces are fully optimized. My rook on h6 isn't actually doing anything. It's just staring into empty space. And I'm just down a pawn. This d5 pawn is really strong. After queen c4, I tried to muddy the waters with knight e4, hitting g3, and the event of takes, and the queen could come in. But he played very nicely here. He just plays queen c6, offering the queen trade. I didn't want to trade queens, but then his queen invaded. And then he took the knight, and then plays knight to d6, threatening the triple fork. And yeah, things just went downhill from here. I gave a check, covered f7, but then he challenges h-file. And now it's white actually attacking along the h-file. He's threatening to take and then play rook h1. I tried to fight on, but yeah, it didn't really pan out to anything. Eventually, he got a position where white is up 3 pawns, and I have no counterplay. Played on a little bit longer, dreaming of a stalemate trap. But after knight g5, I resigned here, given knight e6 is coming, and yeah, there is no hope here for black. So that was a game. I really don't know what to make of it, but I had fun playing it, and I'm really not too disappointed because I don't know exactly where I went wrong. So let me spend like a minute or two just checking some of the key moments with the engine, and then I gotta run to dinner. So let's go to this position after bishop h6, enable, stockfish. Wow, I was much better. I could play d4 here. I don't think I considered this move. If bishop f8, king f8, and now d3 is a threat, man. So I had some exchange sack. I play rook f7, and then it's closer to equal. I should have taken on d5, although bishop b5 is not bad. Rook h7 was a mistake. And then, yeah, then I think he played very smoothly from here in the time scramble. Although it's still interesting. Okay, I had to play g5 here. I considered g5, but it loses f5. Looked a little bit too risky. If we go forward, did I miss anything? After knight d6, no, this is losing. Okay, so I had some chances, but it was a fun game. Apologies for the briefness of this recap, but I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a thing or two, and I'll be back for more. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next video.